Hey guys, welcome back to another Gonk Gang video. Sam here, and today we're going to be looking at Cad Bane Data Vault. So this is a little bit of an interesting deck I've been playing recently. I thought, what do I love about Cad Bane? I love playing all the Underworld cards, but what do I hate? I hate having 25 health. So I thought, why not stick him on the Data Vault, try him with a bit of green, mix it up, try something new. And of course, now that we're in set 5, we get access to loads more Underworld cards than we ever did. And I think there's now enough to fill a full deck, even though I need 60 cards of plenty of good stuff. And of course, I gain access to ramp and some more removal with barrage and the big game threats such as Maul and Vader. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's start with the early game drops. We've got 3 copies of Greedo. He's a nice little curve filler. He's just a 1-cost bounty hunter. He's an Underworld, so I get to ping. And then, of course, we've got the new All-Star from set 5, Aura Singh, who is a crazy 2-drop. She is a 1/4 with Hidden, so she can't be attacked the turn she's played, but she also has Raid 2. So she's a 3/4 essentially for 2. She's really crazy early for clearing through threats, and also for pushing late game damage because you can hide her. She can't be attacked, and then next turn you can swing with a Hotshot Blaster. Just an absolutely crazy 2-drop upgrade to Cad Bane here. We've then got 2 copies of Bazine for that hand control and annoying plays with McClunky to keep bouncing her back to hand, clearing the board, clearing their hand of all their crazy combo cards. You know, are you against a Gar ECL? Well, take away that Vader, and they're not so happy anymore. We've then got 3 copies of the Cartel Spacer. It's just a nice little space unit, as this deck is a little light on space. And of course, you get to exhaust those units that are getting absolutely equipped up to high hell with plenty of pilots such as Chewbacca or Luke Skywalker. You can exhaust them because they're still only a 4 or less cost. And then we've got the classic, the Crafty Smuggler, a 2/2 shielded Underworld. He's just well statted, 2/2 shields are more popular than ever, and this guy gets to deal 1 damage when he comes in due to our leader. So, next, we've got our mid-game threats. So we've got 3 copies of Boba Fett, who's just a nice 3/5 Underworld, and he gets some additional damage if they're exhausted. It doesn't always come up, but when it does feel good. 3 copies of the Mist Hunter, which is a great ship. It can give us some drawing cards throughout the game, which is nice, obviously, because we're on Data Vault, we're a little bit less consistent than normal. And we get a 3/4 Underworld unit in space. Another great card that Cad got in set 5 is the Nile Marauder. It's only a 1/5, but it does have Raid 3, so it hits quite hard. It hits for 4, which is also nice against a lot of those 3/5s, because when he comes in, he pings, and then next turn you can attack for 4 and kill them off. There's not many other things that can do that in this game, kill a 3/5 so cleanly. Plus, you can equip him with a Hotshot Blaster to swing for 6 to base nicely easily. 5 health's quite survivable. I've been really enjoying this card. Next, we'll move straight on to the 5 drops. We've got Boba Fett, the pilot, the 5/4 shielded. So if you have to play it like that, it's not bad. It's a well-statted unit. Sadly, he dies to both Takedown and Fell the Dragon. But a 5/4 shielded, he does 1 damage when he comes in. He does hit quite hard. But of course, the main reason you want to play him is as the piloting is +2/+3. You get to ping, and then you get to deal 2 damage if you're on the Mist Hunter, or 1 damage if you're on the Cartel Spacer. Now, this is probably the worst of the 5 drops that I run, but because we're on Data Vault, we had to fill out our deck. And then also, if you bring in the sideboard, there are more spaceship options. And then finally, I'll talk about Bosk here, who's just a bit of an all-star. He's a classic since Cad Bane came out. 4/5 ambush, you get to do the ping, and then of course, the real bonus of him in this deck is that you get to pair him with some more events, such as Relentless Pursuit, or of course, Overwhelming Barrage to deal 6 damage, and then Bosk's 2 damage. You get to throw around more damage than ever, and because we're not on Tarkin Town, we're often pinging but not finishing off units immediately, so there's a lot more spread damage, so Bosk can help clean up those kills for us. Now, I couldn't talk about the mid-game threats without talking about the main combo of it all, Forlom and Zuckuss. The absolute all-star from Shadows of the Galaxy. Obviously, Forlom is a 4/4 ambush, really well statted. He's Underworld, and then his best buddy Zuckuss, 6/6 ambusher, and of course, no, 6/6 saboteur, sorry, but gains ambush if Forlom's in place. See, I'm just so used to the gang being together. But these two put on so much pressure together. If Forlom survives his initial ambush, you get to come straight in with Zuckuss as a 7/7 and the ping and saboteur. It's just absolutely crazy. You can't not have these guys in a Cad Bane deck. They are the core of the deck. So yep, they're real nice. And then of course, let's move on to what I like to call the late game threats. So it's important to talk about a few different parts here. So I'll go straight to the resupply first, because obviously we're in green, we get access to ramp, and then there's the question of why resupply over super laser tech. I didn't have a reliable way to kill our own super laser tech. Although it is a better card, don't get me wrong, I do feel like resupply is slightly more consistent here, as we don't have the luxury of like Boba Fett killing off his own super laser tech or Palpatine. And also, a lot of decks are going all space these days, and if they are, well, our laser tech's never dying, but our resupply is nice and consistent. And of course, ramping to any of these crazy 7 drops is going to make our game a lot better. But also, Cad Bane is a later game flip, he's a 6 flip, and having him 1 turn earlier can be really, really strong because he's a 4/8 on the attack, and you can even get some other things out with him. If you resupply on turn 5, you can still play a 2-drop and deal the additional 2 damage from Cad Bane. Resupply, just real strong, although you could experiment with laser tech and let me know how it goes. Next, we'll talk about the Hot Shot Blaster. Got to have 3 copies of this, just absolute crazy card. You get to do +2 attack and attack immediately when smuggled in for 3. Pretty much all our deck wants to be doing this. It helps us finish the game, close out with lethal damage, or presents a bigger threat, like getting a blaster on Cad Bane for 3, attacking for 6, and then having a 4/8 on defense. Such a crazy leader when you get stuff like that to be pulled off. And then of course we've got the ultimate 7-drop package. I'm running a lot of 7-drops in here, but I couldn't not include them, they're just so good. So 3 copies of Cad Bane Hostage Taker. This is an insane card. It just gets to capture up to 3 units with 8 or less health combined. You can clear out a board, clear out mid-game aggression, clear out early game aggression. It can be a real game finisher. It swings for 7, and if they want their stuff back, they've got to give you cards. And as I said earlier, Data Vault, I want to draw some cards because our deck's a little bit less consistent. But you guys all know how strong this card is. Speaking of strong, we've got the set 1 Darth Vader. Now, he may not be Underworld, but he is a 5/7 ambush. But importantly, his when played lets you search the top 10 for a villainous unit that costs 3 or less, or a combination of 2s and 1s. Now, in this deck, it's pretty much just going to be a 2 or a 3. The main reasons I'm running this, though, is because that unit is Underworld, that it pulls out, and then that gets a ping as well. So it's essentially like Vader was Underworld anyway. You get to ambush either first or later, depending on which way you want to do the ping. And also you can pull out little sneaky cards like Bazine Natal. You clear out their threat on the board, you pull out Bazine, you take the threat out of their hand at the same time. All of a sudden, they're not looking so hot anymore. And then, of course, the big payoff for having Underworld cards in your deck, other than the leader, is Maul, because you get a 7/6 ambush overwhelm that can basically spread his damage out to other units. Stuff like Crafty Smugglers, Cartel Spaces can be taking your Maul's damage, and he stays on board as a 7/6. He's just absolutely crazy. But do remember to ping first if they've only got 1 unit, because you'll get extra overwhelm damage. But this is one of the main cards I wanted to play with, Cad Data Vault 4. I wanted to try Maul more with Cad, and also, of course, let's not be honest, let's be Overwhelming Barrage. That's what we all wanted. Next, we've just got a slight little removal package. We've got 3 copies of McClunky. You've got to have this in your Cad Bane deck. Return a unit to hand, deal 3 damage, and then you get to ping for 1 damage. Do remember that you have to deal the 3 damage first. You have to fully resolve that card before the ping happens. But you can recycle your Bazines, your Cartel Spaces, stuff that you want to be playing out again and again. 2 copies of Relentless Pursuit, just for some additional removal. We've got loads of bounty hunters in this deck, and of course you get to give a shield out as well, which is real nice, and it's extra good on your Cad Bane leader. If they play a crazy 6-drop, you flip your leader, you capture their 6-drop, and then you can even still Hot Shot Blaster to base. Only costs 3, it's nice and cheap. It might only be temporary sometimes, but gets the job done. Next, we've got 2 copies of Waylay. I was considering the 3rd copy of Waylay. It's obviously a great card in yellow, but I couldn't quite get Jabba the Hutt trick package to work in Data Vault. It just didn't seem consistent enough, so I did end up cutting it down to 2 copies after experimenting. But I do think there is a world in which you run 3, or maybe even try and run the Jabba the Hutt package like the red deck used to. Obviously 3 copies of Overwhelming Barrage. One of the main reasons we want to be playing this deck with green. Zuckuss with a barrage, Bosk with a barrage. Sadly, I will say that some of the units in this deck do have low power. Aura Singh 1 power, Bazine 1 power, Smuggler 2, Nile Marauder 1, and Cad himself is only 2 because of the raid 2. So barrage sometimes can feel a little bit underwhelming, but it's just such a high roll card that if it goes well, you can just win the game off it. So of course we've got to run 3. And then I am experimenting with 1 copy of Craving Power. A card I've really enjoyed this set. It's essentially a fixed version of Barrage. You get to only deal it to 1 unit, but you do get a permanent +2/+2, and it is real nice when you stick it onto something like a Cad Bane, because you get a permanent +2/+2 buff. He's a 4/10 with raid 2, and you got to deal 4 damage when you played it, so a real nice card. And then lastly, we will move on to the sideboard, which is very much a work in progress. I've been playing this deck mainly on Karabas, so sideboarding isn't really a thing, it's just a lot of quick matches. But this is some stuff that I've struggled into and tried to quickly jam it into the sideboard. But please let me know in the comments down below You know, what you guys think could be in the sideboard here or what you struggle against. So we've got 2 copies of Bamboozle. This is to help against those big swingy pilot decks that want to suit up one ship and then just go crazy. You can do stuff against like the Boba Fett Data Vaults, which is still super popular, or even the Kazudas. No Good to Be Dead for a similar purpose. You get to exhaust a unit for 2 turns. This is good against the same kind of thing, the pilots, or even bigger leaders such as Anakin, who can, you know, swing really hard. Our deck is a little bit weak against space, so I've kept in 2 copies of the Contracted Jumpmaster for an early Space Sentinel, and it's Underworld. It was a real nice card I played in my red version of the deck, but the space decks are like up and down, they ebb and flow in popularity, so I could see this card coming in and out of the main deck. 2 copies of Lurking Tie. This deck does struggle into hard control, I won't lie. So just a threat that can't be removed very easily. No one's running like perilous positions anymore or making openings. So this card can definitely survive a bit longer than it used to, and swinging for 4 every turn is just real strong. And then finally, for another late game threat, I did go for the 2 copies of Reinforcement Walker for a bit of draw power or this deck's lack of healing, just to get us through a couple of turns. But I could see this swapped out for the big green Devastator. Just to absolutely nuke a thing and then put a giant unit in space. But as I said, work in progress. We'll see how it evolves over the coming weeks, but please let me know down in the comments what you guys would suggest. So yeah, that's basically the deck tech, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. And next we'll be moving on to the top tips. So, top tips. Data Vault can help you push damage against 25 health and 28 health decks as you have a nice health cushion. So you often find yourself racing these decks. It's nice to push for damage early because you have more health than them and you can just leverage that as a resource. Secondly, the initiative game is still important even though you're not on Tarkin Town. You want to be pinging every turn, but remember, because of no Tarkin Town, you can't just nuke their turn 1 or turn 2 play super quickly, and you don't have that guaranteed removal. But people still get scared because of Cad Bane pinging every turn, so you can still play the pass claim initiative game early on. Keep people scared. They don't know how to play against this deck. That's one of its strengths. You want to keep the board clear and make favourable trades and ambushes as you always do with Cad Bane. And then once Cad flips out, you want to take over the game with your big chunky game enders. Another tip I've put is that people know Cad, but they don't know Cad Green. They're playing as if they're against Tarkin Town. They're playing against the same threats. They're not expecting stuff like Resupply, Barrage, and especially not the Maul Invader to finish the game, as Cad normally lacked endgame finishes. And then finally, as I said, the sideboard, it's a work in progress, and I would really like to hear some feedback in the comments about what you guys think. Maybe play around with the deck and let me know what you think it could do to bolster up its defences in the sideboard. But other than that, guys, let's get into the games real quick, and let's see how I can get on this week on some quick games. Hope you enjoyed. See you in the games. Okay, guys, so game 1 against Talzin Yellow. Might be a more popular deck now that Force Throw has been banned. That's another reason I've been excited to get back into other decks such as Cad Bane, because now with Force Throw gone, we don't have to worry about those crazy one-turn one-shots on your leaders. It's quite nice. So we've got a 2-drop, 3-drop, 4-drop. We've even got a resupply and a nice card to put into our resource row, so I'm going to definitely keep this. Definitely resource this guy. I think against Talzin, I would quite like to stay on the board, but I'm going to play risky. I'm going to get rid of the Mist Hunter, keep the resupply for turn 2. Try and get to the Cad Bane as much as possible. So we'll play out the Shielded Crafty Smuggler and we'll ping 1 damage onto the Warrior. It's a shame we can't stop getting the Force here because she will get to attack first next turn. Another Hotshot Blaster, easy resource choice. You very rarely want to keep them in your hand for the +2. You want the Smuggle. Yep, trades the shield off and gets the Force. I think we will go for just 2 to base here. See what unit they're going to play. Shin Hati, and I'll go for a resupply. So we can go for a Barrage here. Doesn't seem too strong. Maybe a 3 and a 2 rather than just a 4-lom. That seems quite strong. Maybe keep the Barrage for the turn after, or maybe even keep 4-lom. I think in this instance I'm going to resource the 4-lom. I'm going to go for 3-2 play. Talzin's Assassin's nice, just kills my unit straight up. We will play this down. Deal 1 damage out there. Get Boba Fett out. He's got some quite strong units here. We'll pass. Zuckuss isn't great, but we get to keep 1 around anyway. Let's see what he goes for an attack with first. Maybe Shin. I might get some value out of Boba Fett's ability here. I get to deal 3 damage before the defender. That could get through the shield or even kill the assassin before taking any damage back. So Boba Fett's set up for some nice value, and he can't quite kill my crafty. I guess he could use his shrinking powers with Talzin. Let's see what he does. I've got 2 hotshot blasters ready to smuggle here as well if I need to. Goes for the 4 there, interesting. Clearly wants to kill it with the -1/-1. So I think he needs to attack before he dies. I could barrage it, doesn't seem very good though. So I think I'm just going to take my 3 to base. He'll use his -1 power on it. Yep, there it is. I think in this instance, I think I'd rather get rid of Shin's shield, so just ping with Zuckuss. Let's play him down. Zuckuss also threatens to kill Talzin next turn with a hotshot blaster. He's going to put 4 into it, that's fine. Not sure what he's cooking up here. Let's get Cad out. Guessing he wants to kill the Zuckuss with some kind of damage. Maybe he's got like a Cheyenne Flurry kind of play. That's the main reasons we play in yellow. Obviously you get Vader with the Cheyenne Flurry for ambush. And all your other force units like Shin Hati can keep their shield after ambushing. Tyrannus, there we go. Very strong card. Very nice. So I could kill a Tyrannus, but then I die to the Talzin and Shinny takes 1 back, which doesn't seem like great value to me. So I'm just going to keep the pressure up. I'm going to start pressuring the base. He's on 28 health, I'm on 33. My leader's hits are harder than his does, so let's keep the pressure up here. I also get to know I've got a really strong play for next turn with the hostage taker. If he plays out another little 1-drop or something, he's probably just going to deploy Talzin though. There it is. Let's get my 2 to base in. He's going to start trying to kill Cad by the looks of it. So I will claim. Another barrage, interesting. I think we'll get rid of 1 barrage, keep around some extra units. So Cad doesn't die in 1 swing, but I'd rather get the damage out from him now. So let's go 4 to base. As you can see, the damage is really mounting up on his base, whereas we've still got a ton of health. Even though I'd say in this matchup he's the aggressor, we can turn the tide. Like I said, flip Cad, pressure the base, he's hard to get rid of, and now we've got 7 drops that are going to start spilling out, followed by barrages. It's really looking good for us right now. Spark of Rebellion is real good here though. Did not expect that out of aspect. So I think in this instance we could go 4 to base with a hot shot, but I think it would be quite nice to save Cad. So let's go for a barrage. Let's put 3 on Dooku and 1 onto Talzin. I don't think he's going to have much follow-up play with 2 resources. I'm surprised he's not playing Bazine in these colour combo and he's playing Spark or Rebellion. That's an interesting take. I guess he's going for Anakin. That's actually quite a nice idea. Never thought of that one. Let's take out Mother Talzin. Seems like a nice trade for us. Guess he's going for a double -3 play, which would wipe us out here. That is strong, but I do get to claim here. So we're going up to 8, which means I can go for a hotshot blaster plus a 5-drop. I think I'd rather get down probably Zuckuss, but I'd rather keep the big guys anyway, so let's start with a hotshot blaster. Let's get damage on the base. Nice 6 to base there with the raid 2 plus the hotshots 2. We can even follow up with another hotshot if you want another 4 to base. I'm guessing Anakin's coming down, that's why he kind of took the off turn. I'm surprised. Let's get another 2 to base. I think we'll look to play down probably the Zuckuss here. as the yellow-blue removal doesn't really care about shields a ton. It's not damage based, so I guess the higher stats as Zuckuss are just better. Hot Shot would take him to 27 next turn, so there's no point in claiming, so let's get down Zuckuss. I assume we're going to get a claim here from him. Yep, and then I guess Vader would be his out. I think I'll resource one of the Boba Fetts, don't need two. Vader, Xi'an Flurry could be quite scary here. He needs to deal with Zuckuss in one action though. As you can see there, just the health differential, I got to put the pressure on a lot earlier than he did. Anakin is nice. So I think we will definitely get in our 4 to base with a hot shot. Even on 1 health, I don't think that deck has a way to heal, so just 1 more damage will get us the win. Put down Boba Fett. You'll probably have to claim. He does, so we get down Greedo and we'll pass. Not a great draw, but we'll keep him. Not really seeing many of our 7 drops here. We've only seen 1 Cad Bane, which unfortunately got sparked, but let's see if he can deal with both of these. Once again, I think Vader would deal with this. Nope, that's it, that's the game. Nice, not too bad. As you can see, we ended the game on super high health. We got to turn the tide after the resupply, get Cad Bane out early, so we'll go ahead and head into game 2.
Hello there.
Okay, we'll go ahead and head into game 2 here. We're going against a Luke Data Vault, so he's got a lot of health too. He also has a giant pilot leader, which without our sideboard could be a real problem. I think we will take the initiative here. No turn 1 plays though, so we're definitely going to mulligan. Rough hand. I mean, we've got a smuggle, and then we've got the resupply to get into our bigger threats, but he's going to be mainly in space, so I don't think Maul's going to get a ton of value here. But definitely not looking great here. I'm going to pass, see if I can try and bait him a bit. No, he did not fall for it, so I will claim. Sometimes we will fall for baits in those situations, although I think this is a rough start for us, definitely. We can't deal with his early threats and he'll start pinging us. I thought we were the ping masters, but we will resupply here. I think I'll just claim. Blue leader, very nice. Get rid of one of these spaces. I think these Cad Banes are going to be crucial. Let's get down our Boba Fett. We can start playing down chunky guys now. Maybe we can try and pull it back on the ground arena, but I do think the space arena is looking pretty over here. Hopefully he doesn't have a big upgrade like Chewbacca or something. That would definitely be game over for us. He'll get to ping the shield here. I think they do sometimes run open fire as well, which would be devastating. There it is. Yep. So we're going to 6 this turn. Once again, don't have a ton we can do. We could probably do like a 2, 3 and a 1 play. That looks to be the best probably. So we'll start with this guy to get a yellow unit down. We'll trigger. I'd have to put a damage out there. We'll follow up with the cartel spacer to exhaust the other one. And then we'll do a mix of McClunky plus the second CAD trigger to hopefully clear some units. So we're going to cartel spacer, exhaust a unit, we'll get rid of the blue leader. He puts the bounty hunter's quarry over there, which is nice, but luckily we can McClunky that back at the right time to upset him, as bounties do fall off when returned to hand. So we get to return this to hand, we get to deal 3 damage here, and then we get to deal 2 damage to the Resistance Blue Squadron, and he didn't get the Bounty Hunter's Quarry, which is nice. This will be the ship he's going to try and flip Luke on, which will give it +5, so that'll be 7 health total. It's going to be tough to get rid of for our deck pre-sideboard. Put 4 on the base. 7 is nice, and then the 2-3-2 combo if needed, because we can still exhaust Luke when he flips on that. So if we're looking at that, we need to resource one of these Cad Banes to try and get maximum stuff out on the ground, I think. Let's see what he goes for. Luke on the ground, interesting. I think that is definitely an interesting choice, because I think we'll go hot shot and just take him out. Definitely an interesting choice by him. I guess he was scared of some kind of play and he just concedes straight there. Interesting play by the guy, but there you go. We managed to pull it back after a poor start. The resupply got us ahead. Very, very nice.
Hello there.
Okay, heading into game 3 here against a bit of a classic right now. The Boba Fett Data Vault definitely really started to pick up steam, and I think after the Force Throw ban, it's probably better than ever. I think in this instance, I'm going to let him have initiative, and we'll try it this way around. Let's see what we get. Well, we got the Mist Hunter, Forlom, and Zuckuss, you know, the gang, but we didn't get a turn 1 play again, so we're going to mulligan that away. Oh, an interesting hand. 2 Greedo, 2 hot shots, so I guess we'll get rid of both hot shots. I mean, that's nice for later. Let's get Greedo out and we'll ping. Means Greedo can trade nicely into HK. And we'll pass there. The 3rd hot shot, have you ever seen a more beautiful smuggle row? I don't think you've seen anything like this before. He gets that down, very nice. I think we'll get the 3 here. We don't need to deal 2 damage to the ground unit. Obviously the indirect damage will start adding up quite heavily on us, but there's nothing we can do about that. We'll get to put 1 damage over here, and then if he attacks first next turn, we get to play another unit and take it out. So this turn we could do Forlom, but I don't think he's going to play a ground unit, so I don't hate Greedo plus resupply. That seems kind of good. So we'll get rid of Aura, I think, and we've got both options. This is nice, so we get to play down the Greedo, deal 1 damage just from pre-removal. Okay, we're taking a lot to base, but the Data Vault is going to help us here. So we get to take 3 indirect damage. We could start putting it on the Nile Marauder, but I'd rather keep all my units alive, I think. So we're going to put this all on the base. And the extra 1 on the base. Fett's Fire Spray, even more damage. I think we'll keep putting it on the base for now. We're going to resupply. We'll get in our 4 to base. Ooh, McClunky's nice for an insta-kill on the Fire Spray. So McClunky plus Forlom potentially this turn. I mean, we've got a lot of smuggle though, so it could be 1, 2 and a 3 over here. I think I like that more. He doesn't like to play on the ground. So if we put all the indirect here on the Nile, it's not a problem. So I think we need to McClunky now before he takes that option away from us. So we will McClunky Greedo back to hand, deal 3, trigger, deal 1, takes it out cleanly. General Pride. I think in that instance we will deploy Cad. A Fang Fighter, interesting. So we get to go ahead and take out General Pride here. We will get to play out a unit and deal 2 damage to his unit. So he's got nothing to flip on for Boba Fett. And even better, we get a hot shot for pressure on the base. We'll start catching back up now. We're very much ahead at this point. We've got a 7 or a 4-2-1 play. I think Maul might be able to one-shot Boba if he flips him onto ground, so we'll get rid of the Greedo. He's the least interesting here. It's important to remember as well, these 2 hot shots can really help us put damage on the base. Ruthless Raider. So he's probably going to flip Boba onto that. We'll put that underneath the shield. So knowing that he's going to flip Boba onto that, I think it's important that we get as much damage out as possible. So let's hot shot to base. He gets to deal 4 when he flips onto it then. He'll put that on Cad, I assume. Yep, there we go. I think I'm just going to keep up the pressure here. I think I need to. 4 more to base. We're going to get absolutely demolished by a barrage here and take 10 to base. But there's nothing we can do to remove it anyway. Oh, he didn't have it. So I guess we're taking our 8 to base. It's lucky for us, I can't lie. Oh, Maul does a lot of damage back though. But that leaves us on exactly 1 health for the absolutely clutch win of our own Maul. And we'll have Cad take the damage just to show off the mechanic, and boom, there it is guys. 3 quick wins for this deck back to back. As you can see, the Data Vault health really helps Cad Bane. And you get to play with some real nice green cards which you normally wouldn't have access to. So I really hope you guys enjoyed the video today. Stick around on the Gonk Gang for more videos every week, and we'll also have some bonus content coming up real soon. If there's anything you guys want to see from us, let us know down in the comments. If you've got any deck ideas or even video ideas, we're happy to take them on board. But thanks very much, guys, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye.